Have you ever felt that sharp sting in your chest when the man you care about treats you like an afterthought? Maybe he brushes off your opinions or makes you feel like you're walking on eggshells just to keep the peace. You're left wondering, is it me? Am I asking for too much? The truth is, you're not. You deserve respect. Full stop. And if a man can't offer that, you have every right to stand up for yourself, walk away if needed, and step into the powerful, confident woman you are meant to be. In a world that tells us to settle, this video is your permission slip to break free from any relationship dynamic where you aren't valued. Our goal here isn't just to talk about the problem, it's to give you real solutions rooted in psychology, real-life experiences, and a bold vision of what a high-value woman looks like in today's world. By the end, you'll not only recognize those sneaky, disrespectful behaviors, like subtle put-downs or controlling tactics, but also know exactly how to handle them. So buckle up, because we're about to dive deep, get real, and show you how to command the respect you deserve, without apology. 1. Recognize the hidden signs of disrespect. One of the biggest mistakes women make is brushing off minor acts of disrespect, hoping they'll magically go away. But disrespect rarely appears out of nowhere. It often starts small, a sarcastic joke at your expense, an eye roll when you voice an opinion, or an "I forgot" excuse when he's late again, despite your reminders. Don't ignore these early signals. They're the foundation of bigger issues. When you let them slide, you're essentially telling him, "I'll accept less than I deserve." Spotting these subtle red flags early can save you from heartbreak and wasted years down the road. Number 2, the psychology of boundary setting. Here's a fresh perspective on boundaries. They're not brick walls to keep men out. They're guiding lines that show you where respect ends and disrespect begins. Imagine boundaries as bright neon arrows pointing a man toward how you expect to be treated. If he refuses to follow them, that's a him problem, not a you problem. Boundaries are about self-love. They protect your time, your emotional energy, and your mental well-being. By setting and enforcing boundaries, you send a clear message. I respect myself too much to settle for crumbs when I deserve the entire cake. 3. Shift the power dynamic through self-worth. Ever notice how the second you start to really value yourself, some people get uncomfortable? That's because healthy self-esteem shifts the power dynamic. A high-value woman doesn't need external validation to know her worth. She owns it. And that ownership can be intimidating to men who rely on control or manipulation. When you walk into a room, shoulders back, head high, knowing exactly who you are, you silently communicate, "I won't tolerate disrespect." Watch how quickly those who once underestimated you start to tread carefully. Confidence is more than a trait. It's a protective shield against those who'd rather see you doubt yourself. 4. Emotional detachment versus numbness. Handling a disrespectful man doesn't mean shutting down your emotions altogether. Emotional detachment is about stepping back before reacting, about looking at a situation objectively rather than from a place of fear or anger. It's telling yourself, "I'm allowed to feel upset, but I won't let that feeling dictate how I respond." This helps you approach conflict with clarity, and ironically, it often rattles the other person more than if you'd exploded. The goal is to remain in control of your emotions instead of letting his behaviors control you. 5. Demand consistency, not grand gestures. Have you ever met a guy who gives you flashy gifts or makes sweeping apologies after he's crossed the line, yet never truly changes his behavior? Grand gestures can be intoxicating in the moment, but they're worthless if he continues to belittle you the very next day. A respectful partner understands that consistency in his words and actions is more valuable than any spur-of-the-moment gift or over-the-top date. If he truly values you, he'll show it in the small, everyday ways, like remembering your opinions, sticking to plans, or checking in on your emotional well-being without you having to beg for it. When a man tries to win you over with dramatic flair but fails to follow through on the basic level of treating you right, don't be dazzled. Read his patterns. If he's consistently breaking promises, ignoring your texts while active on social media, or only showing up when it's convenient for him, it's time to demand better, or walk. Your standards should require reliable, respectful treatment, not just a flashy one-time performance. 6. Turn confrontations into conversations. It might seem tempting to call out disrespect in a full-blown mic drop moment, especially if you've been biting your tongue for too long. But while emotional outbursts may feel cathartic, they often push the other person into defense mode, making resolution harder. Instead, treat disagreements as conversations, opportunities to lay your cards on the table calmly yet firmly. For example, if he talks over you or trivializes your concerns, try something like, "When you interrupt me, it feels like you're dismissing what I have to say. Can we both agree to take turns speaking?" Why does this work? Because calling out a specific behavior and expressing how it impacts you forces him to confront his actions without giving him an easy escape route. It also sets a higher bar for interaction going forward. If he can't honor a reasonable request for respectful communication, that's all the clarity you need. 7. Cultivate an inner circle that keeps you accountable. Dealing with a disrespectful man can feel isolating, especially when you're battling constant self-doubt about whether you're overreacting. That's why it's crucial to have a circle, friends, mentors, or even an online support group where you can share your experiences without fear of judgment. These are the people who know your worth even when you momentarily forget it. They'll hold you accountable to your own standards and remind you that you deserve love, kindness, and respect in all areas of your life. Select friends who will speak the truth, not just tell you what you want to hear. A great support system acts like a mirror reflecting reality back to you. When you're making excuses for a guy who's disrespecting you, they'll gently point out the discrepancies between his words and actions. When you consider settling for less, they'll remind you of the bigger vision you had for yourself. In other words, they'll help you maintain perspective and a healthy dose of self-respect. 8. Unplug from toxic influences. In the digital age, toxic influences aren't just people in your immediate circle. They can be social media accounts, celebrities, or even certain reality TV shows that normalize disrespectful behavior. When you repeatedly watch examples of men disregarding women and women putting up with it, you risk internalizing the narrative that such treatment is acceptable. It isn't. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make for your self-respect is to unfollow, unsubscribe, or mute the voices that glamorize toxic dynamics. Fill your feed instead with empowering content, women supporting other women, experts offering actionable advice, and stories of healthy relationships. Over time, you'll notice that your mindset shifts toward a healthier expectation of respect, because you're no longer saturating your brain with damaging examples of how men should treat women. Number 9. Address disrespect early and directly. Many women avoid the tough conversations hoping issues will resolve themselves. The reality? They don't. Small acts of disrespect can turn into massive relationship problems if ignored. The key is to address them head-on as soon as they arise. For instance, if your boyfriend belittles your career choices at a family gathering, don't wait days to speak up. Talk to him calmly afterward, expressing exactly why his comment hurt and how you expect to be treated in the future. The longer you wait, the more it festers and the more difficult it becomes to tackle the root cause. Think of early intervention like removing a splinter. It's slightly uncomfortable, but leaving it in only allows the wound to get infected. Similarly, addressing minor disrespect swiftly prevents it from becoming an ingrained pattern. 10. Know when to walk away, for real. Walking away isn't about winning or losing, it's about protecting your peace and standing firmly in your self-worth. If a man repeatedly disrespects you and shows no willingness to change, you owe it to yourself to move on. It may hurt, especially if emotions and history are involved, but the cost of staying in a chronically disrespectful relationship is far greater than the pain of leaving. Think about the mental toll it takes, the self-esteem it erodes, and the opportunities it steals from you. Remember, you're worthy of respect in every breath, every heartbeat, and every moment. If you can't see that, it's time you find someone who can, or stand happily on your own until you do. Because being with the wrong person can often be lonelier than being alone. 11. Reframe adversity as an opportunity for growth. It's natural to feel hurt and frustrated when a man disrespects you. Maybe he snaps at you in public or belittles your ambitions. But what if you shifted your perspective? Instead of letting his behavior define how you feel about yourself, See it as a catalyst for growth. Every moment of disrespect can shine a spotlight on what you truly need, whether that's assertiveness, self-awareness, or emotional independence. Rather than internalizing his words, let them ignite a newfound resolve to strengthen your boundaries and honor your worth. Think of adversity like resistance at the gym. It's uncomfortable, but it builds resilience. If you never face disrespect, you might never develop the muscle of self-advocacy. So, while you shouldn't tolerate rude or dismissive behavior, you can use these experiences to refine your sense of self. With the right mindset, you can transform painful interactions into powerful lessons that push you closer to the high-value woman you aspire to be. 12. Claim the high-value woman mindset. It's one thing to say you deserve respect. It's another to live it every day. A high-value woman doesn't just talk the talk. She embodies confidence, self-respect, and kindness in every facet of her life. It's the way she walks into a room knowing she belongs there. It's how she speaks up for herself, not out of aggression, but out of certainty in her own worth. It's her ability to gracefully exit situations that don't serve her growth or well-being. Claiming a high-value mindset isn't about perfection or arrogance. It's about refusing to settle for crumbs in any relationship, romantic or otherwise. You'll start noticing that when you hold yourself to a high standard, men who can't rise to meet it will fade away, leaving room for those who genuinely respect you. This self-assurance will seep into every corner of your life. You'll handle stress better, choose healthier friendships, and even pursue goals you once hesitated to chase. High-value living becomes your foundation, a cornerstone that naturally repels disrespect. 13. Do the inner work. Navigating disrespectful men isn't just an external game. There's internal work to be done too. For instance, if you grew up in an environment where you weren't valued, you might unconsciously gravitate toward men who replicate that pattern. Or maybe you've been told, either explicitly or through cultural messaging, that women should always be nice and never rock the boat, so you tolerate more than you should. Recognizing these internal narratives is a game changer. Therapy, self-help books, journaling, or mindfulness practices can help you unearth the beliefs that keep you stuck in disrespectful dynamics. Work through them. Rewrite the mental scripts that tell you you're not enough or that you have to earn respect. The truth is, respect isn't something you beg for. It's something you command by knowing who you are. When you release old limiting beliefs, you open the door to healthier relationships and genuine happiness. 14. Practice the art of letting go. Sometimes the best solution is to walk away for good, but not every disrespectful situation requires a full relationship purge. Perhaps you need to create emotional distance for a while. Let's say you have a longtime friend who suddenly started making snide comments about your personal choices. Instead of cutting ties immediately, try stepping back to evaluate the relationship. Create space so you can see if they're willing to change, or if the negativity persists. Letting go doesn't always mean an abrupt end. It could mean loosening the rope so you have room to breathe. You'll know in your gut when it's time to make a permanent break. True strength lies in not tying your self-worth to any single connection. If letting go, temporarily or permanently, is what preserves your mental and emotional well-being, then that's a move a high-value woman makes without regret. 15. Create a life where respect is the standard. Ultimately, handling men who don't respect you isn't just about skillful comebacks or tough ultimatums. It's about crafting an environment where disrespect can't easily take root. That starts with you. Are you respecting yourself in the way you speak to yourself, the goals you set, and the habits you cultivate? If you constantly criticize your own flaws or deny yourself happiness because of guilt or fear, you're sending a message that you don't value you. Build a life filled with passion, purpose, and self-love. Pursue the career you've dreamed of. Maintain friendships that uplift you. Invest in experiences that expand your horizons. When your life is rich with meaning, the disrespect of one person loses its power to rattle you. You become the sun in your own universe, not a planet orbiting someone else's validation. Respect from a partner becomes a delightful bonus, not the anchor of your self-esteem. Men who can't meet you at the level of respect you deserve aren't your responsibility to fix. You can offer the chance for change, but if they don't accept it, Let them find their own path while you continue thriving on yours. You are far too extraordinary to settle for anything less than mutual respect, emotional support, and genuine partnership. As you navigate this journey, remember, you're not alone. Countless women have felt that unsettling pit in their stomach after being disrespected. But guess what? They've risen above it, and so will you. You are a high-value woman with a life worth treasuring and a future worth protecting. So set those boundaries, nurture your growth, and surround yourself with people who amplify your worth. If you found this video enlightening, or you know someone who could use a nudge toward self-respect, share it. Let's build a community of women who refuse to be overshadowed by anyone's disrespect. Women who stand tall, speak boldly, and live joyfully. Now go out there and own your worth unapologetically.